Well, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's now 12:32, and we'll start with roll call, and I'll start with myself. I'm Ken Marlborough. I'm a public member, vice president, and I'm appointed by the Senate Rules Committee. Next, Emilda.
Good afternoon, everyone. Imelda Ceja Butko is appointed by the governor as a public member. Welcome.
All right, and we have a new member. Welcome aboard, Jovita. Are you there, Jovita?
Yes, I am. Sorry. Dealing with technology.
Just give us your
my name
name.
is Jovita Dominguez, and
Correct.
I actually I believe I'm like a appointed like staff member. I'm still learning my role, but I actually am a staff member, staff nurse 3 at Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital, and I also teach for Hartnell College here in Salinas, California, and learning the process. I got a lot of homework ahead of me. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, and put your seatbelt on for the ride. Mary?
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Fagan, Nursing Services Administration member appointed by the governor. Welcome, Jovita.
Susan?
Hi, everyone. Susan Naranjo, public member appointed by Speaker Wren.
Dolores?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dolores Trujillo, and I've been appointed by the governor in the role for representing nurses in the clinic, hospital, and home healthcare areas.
All right. And last, Elizabeth Woods.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Woods. I was appointed by the governor for the advanced practice role.
All right. Outstanding. So we've established a quorum. We will now move to agenda item 2.0, which is general instructions for the format of a teleconference call. BR moderator, would you take over, please?
Sorry, thank you, sir. Did we want to introduce our EO?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I apologize. Our executive director.
Thank you. I'm Loretta Melby, or Lori. I'm the executive officer for the Board of Registered Nursing, appointed by the board.
I'm sorry about that, Lori. How can I forget you?
Thanks, Ken.
Okay, let's go ahead and move to item 2.0.
All right. Good morning, or I'm sorry, good afternoon. This is the BRN moderator. I will be moderating the meeting. To facilitate public comment, we will be utilizing the WebEx question and answer feature. When the board reaches a point in the agenda at which public comment is appropriate, the question and answer feature will be turned on, and members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by inserting the phrase, "I would like to make a comment," in the question box, which is typically in the lower right of your screen. I will then call on to the individual and unmute their microphone. The individual will have 2 minutes to make their comments. I will not give a warning as your time approaches. I will mute your microphone and will announce that your time has exceeded the time allotted. I will then move on to the next member of the public who has a comment. Please note that the question and answer feature is being used only as a means for the members of the public to represent that they would like to make a verbal comment. This is not a means to ask questions of the moderator or members of the board. Such inquiries submitted using this feature will not be answered. When asking a question, please make sure the question is directed at the host, me, in the dropdown. If any attendees utilize a profane name, they will not be called upon to prevent members of the public from being subject to profane language. While you are free to express criticism or negative views, for the sake of the members of the public participating on this call, please do not use profane language when making public comments to the board. I will provide a brief reminder of this approach at the start of each public comment item. Finally, when board members or senior staff are not speaking, I would like to remind them to mute their microphone. If I detect background noise during the meeting as a result of unmuted microphones, I will interject with a brief friendly reminder.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I appreciate that. So now we'll move to 3.0, which is public comment for items not on the agenda. I'll repeat that, items not on the agenda, and items for future agendas. So as a note, the board may not discuss or act on any matter raised during the public comment section that is not included in this agenda, except to decide whether to place the matter on the agenda of a future meeting. So moderator, would you go ahead and open it up for public comment for items not on the agenda?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Dr. Mary Taheri would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Dr. Taheri.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, all. Thank you so much for this opportunity and allowing us to be a part of this very important decision-making process. I'm not sure if this is the right time, but my comment is regarding Dr. Edward Ray. I have a couple of questions, if I may, as I am not very familiar with who this position is. First, how do you see primary nurse practitioner roles in California in 2023, Mr. or Dr. Ray? And then are there any nurse practitioners that are on your team at Cedars-Sinai, and how are their roles conducted with your team? And then
Can I
of course,
I apologize for the interruption.
Of course.
This is Reza Kajuhash. I'm the board's legal counsel. So this portion of the meeting is for public comment on items that are not on the agenda.
I see.
There is a specific agenda item coming up. We'll get to it shortly. That is specifically focused on the appointment of the physician member to the Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee. So I'd ask that you stand by for that
Of course.
segment. No problem at all.
I apologize.
Also,
Thank you so much.
I just want to mention we're not necessarily going to have the nominee responding to questions. So we're here to accept public comment and any feedback and all of that, but I wouldn't necessarily expect answers to your questions here.
Okay, I would appreciate, and I mean, I'm hoping that he will make some comments because we are not familiar with them. So I would appreciate some feedback. Thank you so much for your time.
Dr. Meza would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Dr. Meza.
Good afternoon. Hi, I can also defer my comment to when the agenda item arises.
Perfect, thank you. We have a public member who would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. I guess I can't unmute that person. Sorry, public member. Erica Martinez would like to make, oh, sorry, Erica Martinez has not requested. All right. Board Vice President Marlborough, we have no more requests for comment. May I close the window?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving to item 4.0, which is expression of gratitude to former board member Michael Jackson for serving on the Board of Registered Nursing. So I just want to pass on some information. About 2 weeks ago, we were informed that Michael Jackson's term has come to an end after serving 9 years of service with the Board of Registered Nursing. We were kind of shocked by that, but we kind of knew that this was going to happen eventually. Michael was very understandingly and very helpful in passing on the baton to me for temporarily to help run this. But I just want to pass on a few things about him. Michael served as a clinical nurse too in the Department of Emergency Medicine at the University of California, the San Diego Medical Center, since the year 2000. He has been an adjunct clinical faculty member for the Registered Nursing Program at Southwestern Community College, Miracosta College, and California State University of San Marcos. Additionally, Michael proudly served as a Lance Corporal in the United States Marine Corps Reserves from 1989 to 1993. Michael, for me, he'll always be remembered for his institutional knowledge of the BRN and his extreme care for nursing, and of course, his passion while debating during meetings. So again, I want to thank Michael for his services, and I wish him the best in his future. If there's any other comments from the board members, I'll leave that open right now for you. Is there anybody who would like to comment?
Hi, this is Betty, and I'd like to make a comment about Michael. I served with him for about 8 years now, and I learned an awful lot from him, and I was always very happy to serve on the board with many good members, and Michael was quite outstanding. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
This is Dolores. I would like to make a comment. I have been on this board now for over a year, and Michael has been instrumental in answering my questions and giving me, I could say, a tutorial on being on the board. So I will miss him, and I hope he serves on another committee in another capacity in a public way, because he has so much knowledge. Michael, I will miss you if you're watching this. Thank you for all of your hard work. That's it.
Hi, this is Imelda. I would like to say something. Michael, you know, we've been through a lot. Our second sunset. We've had our ups and downs, lots of challenges. We've made good changes to protect the public, and you're very instrumental. I've been here going on 8 years, and so we almost started together. Again, I thank you for your guidance, your knowledge, and for all that you have done for this board. I wish you good luck in your future endeavors. I know that we will run into each other again, and we'll have a toast for good times and for future better times. Michael, love you. Take care. Miss you already.
Is there any other comments?
This is Mary. I'd like to make a comment. Even though I'm relatively new on the board, I really want to thank Michael for his service. We didn't agree on a lot of things in our short tenure together, but I really appreciate all of the years of service you put in to the board, and I wish you the best in the future.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, Ken, I noticed that Michael's in the participant list. Mark, do you want to elevate him?
Oh,
I
that's
will,
great.
but I was waiting. Here he comes.
I knew he was watching.
Always is.
Michael, go.
Thank you, Board of Nursing, for allowing me to have an agenda item. I feel so honored. I've never had an agenda item dedicated to me before, specifically. I really appreciate that. Oh, by the way, I am former board member Michael Jackson. I was appointed by Jerry Brown. This has been one of the best experiences of my life in nursing. I have been there through 5 DCA directors, 3 executive officers, 2 governors. So it has been a truly an honor and a pleasure to serve the public for the state of California, and I hope I leave nursing better than I find it in the future. Thank you, Ken, for giving a little bit of bio for me. I still work as a staff nurse, though, and I still work as a faculty at Southwestern College. And I did serve in the Marine Corps, and I did support, I did go to the Gulf War, and I did go to Operation Sea Angel, which was a typhoon in Bangladesh in 1991. And I also was there in the Philippines when the volcano erupted in 1991 also. So I've done my service to the world, to the country, to the state for most of my life. So I know I leave the board in great hands. Lori, you have a lot of work to do. Thank you for um, picking up the reins and carrying on the board of nursing. And I know you will continue to do a good job. And I wish all the board members good luck in what you're doing. And I'm always here if you need me. Normally, I don't spend my spare time watching WebEx or Zoom meetings. So you'll have to call me and tell me. So thank you very much for the tribute. And I will miss you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye.
Enjoy your newfound free time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Mike. You take care, my friend. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go ahead now and move to item 5.0, which is nominations and elections of board members to the vacant officer position, which is the office that Michael just left. So that is the president. So here's how I hope that this can work. First, we're going to open up the nominations, then we'll have those and have the folks who have been nominated to see if they will accept it. We will include candidate statements, and then voting. This is a little different since we're doing this using technology. What I hope is that we'll just simply do a roll call. Once your name is called, you will state who you're voting for, and hopefully Reza will record that for us and then provide us the feedback as to who was elected. And then I believe once that person is elected, they probably will be taking over the meeting from that point on. I think that's what we did the last time when I saw this. So we'll go ahead and start that. So now it's open for nominations. And so if there's anyone that'd like to speak up, they can at this point.
This is Imelda Sehab-Butkowitz. I would like to make a nomination for our vice chair, Kenneth Marlborough. And since I'm making the nomination for him, I would also like to make a nomination for the vice chair, if I can do that. Mr. Reza, can I do that, or that would be 2 separate motions?
I'd have to be separate.
Well, I don't think, I mean, personally, I wouldn't consider this a motion. I think you can nominate Ken, and then we'll hear from Ken whether he accepts the nomination. And if you want to put someone else forward or even yourself as vice president, then that's fine. Of course, as of right now, Ken serves as the vice president. So I think it would make the most sense. You can nominate both, but there won't be a vacant vice president position unless Ken happens to be elected to the president position. So once we get to the point of you all voting, we'll vote on them separately to ensure that there's even a reason to vote on vice president. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So my nomination is for Kent Marborough for chair. He's already been serving in that capacity. He's been with the board probably right before, he's probably the oldest guy now, besides Betty and I, and he serves on 4 of the 5 chairs. And again, he's been acting. He's been very involved with the internal board situations, and he is well knowledgeable as to what's going on, both with the board. More importantly, he's been very transparent with this board, and I really appreciate that. There's lots of changes, lots of challenges, and I believe that he is a perfect person to fill the new position of chair. Thank you.
This is Ken Marborough, and wow, I appreciate that, Emilda, and I do accept that nomination.
Well, okay.
This is Reza. I just wanted to mention, I should have said in my previous comments, Ken, since you're running this at the time, if you prefer to do them separately and just go with nominations and voting on president first and then turn to vice president if necessary, that's fine too.
I think the right thing to do is go for president. Is that's how it should be done. And if I'm elected, then we do that. But that's still up in the air. So
Sure.
Let's just take care of this at one time. At what point, after, let's see what happens after this. So can we open this up for any additional nominations, please?
This is Betty, and I would like to actually put forward Dolores Trujillo for the presidency and for Ken for the vice presidency.
I think we're doing one at a time.
Yeah, Betty, we're just doing one at a time. So you're nominating Dolores, as I hear, correct?
That's
Okay, great. Are there any other nominations? Oh, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Excuse me, I just, that if we're going to hear from candidates that are put forward, we're going to hear from them, right, as far as what they're going to be doing.
We are going to hear from the candidates, that's correct. Is there any other nominations?
I would like to thank Betty for putting my name forward, and I accept.
Okay, outstanding. All right. So I just want to make sure there's no other nominations before we move on. Hearing none? Okay, let's move to the next step, and that's candidate statements. Dolores, would you like to go first?
I could. So I'm Dolores Trujillo. I am of Latina and Polynesian descent. As an RN, I have worked in ICU, med-surg, telemetry, postpartum, pediatric ICU, and currently in the neonatal intensive care unit. I'm very familiar with nursing practice and have had a very well-rounded career in nursing practice that has spanned 34 years in the healthcare industry. And I would apply my experience as well as the diverse experience of the board members to address the nursing issues with legislation, practice, education, and licensing. Most of you know I currently serve on the legislative committee as chair, and I am also a member on the nursing practice committee. I'm very passionate about nursing, and in my role as a public and patient advocate, I advocate for my patients every day as a nurse, and for the protection of the public, I serve on the BRN. During this ongoing public health care crisis with COVID, I believe it is important to have an RN in the lead role of president on the Board of Registered Nursing. As we have witnessed during this pandemic, nurses have a role in the forefront of the pandemic, whether it be in the hospital or in the public arena. Logistically, I am also positioned in Northern California, where I will be able to assist the BRN EO and assistant EO in any capacity that I am needed in person, as well as in the Capitol and at DCA, because both are located in Northern California. It's my understanding that Ken is a retired firefighter and has served previously on various boards. I welcome his expertise in serving on previous committees and also his serving the time served on the BRN. I believe Ken and I, together with the current board, can make a great team in serving the needs of the BRN. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to run for board president.
All right. Thank you, Dolores, and thank you for the kind comments. So I guess I'll go now. And first of all, again, I want to thank Imelda for nominating me. Again, I'm Ken Marlborough. I am a public member. I've served for 1 year and 10 months on the board. And if anybody asked me if I would be the vice president after serving that short period of time, I would probably say, no way. But it did happen, and I do appreciate that. And I have learned a lot, and I've tried to do a good job as being the vice president. So in my opinion, there's several factors as far as being a good president for this board. First, you must be willing to take on the responsibility and be willing to hold accountable. As Dolores has mentioned, I've served 31 years in the San Diego Fire Department and 10 years as a deputy fire chief. I've managed 49 fire stations with 300 employees. That's serving 1.3 million citizens in the city of San Diego. So that is a position where you must be responsible and be willing to be held accountable. And I have served on many boards. I'm currently serving as a vice president for the City of San Diego's 2020 Redistricting Commission. I've been the chair of a town council for 13 years, chair of a community planning group for 8 years, and I've been on numerous other boards. So I do understand what it takes to take that on, and I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to do that also. Secondly, you must understand the role here, and it's very, very important to do this. And trust me, I certainly do understand and appreciate our registered nurses that are on this board, the 5 that are supposed to be there, and the services that they bring. But I also appreciate the almost 500,000 nurses throughout our state of California that we're representing, plus the students that we're representing, and the nursing programs that are currently in place, as well as the clinical facilities that we should need to work with. And we have many other internal and other external stakeholders that we need to be involved in. But the number one thing about this and being taking this role is I'm not the king. I'm here to support this board and our citizens as well. That is my role. I want to keep you informed. I want to provide you with the tools that you need in order to do your job. And I want us collectively to help our executive director be successful in her job. That's the number one thing. Lastly, transparency is extremely important to me. And I've tried to do that as a vice president, even as a board member. In fact, just recently, something terribly happened, and it's not on the agenda, but I'm just going to share this. We had our sunset hearing here last Friday. And unfortunately, something happened to me where I was asked not to be a part of that hearing. And I was very concerned because I was asked at a very high level from actually the agency, which is the Business, Consumer and Services and Housing Agency, to not do that because they were concerned about the actual hearing being very hard and tough, and they didn't want me to experience that. It bothered me because I worked really hard to prepare for this, even did a mock hearing just so that I can make sure that I had what I needed, the tools to do so. But I decided to go ahead and follow theirs because I was just shocked. But I asked them to do a statement on doing so, and they didn't do it. They fell through on that. So my concern is my board members. I needed to make sure that they needed to know what was going on. And so I called individually all the board members that I had numbers to do so, to pass this information on, because I didn't want them to hear from somebody else except for me, because that's the person that I am. And so I am going to get to the bottom of this, but I just want to give you an illustration of how transparent I am with this process. And so if I'm chosen, if I'm the person that you want, I just kind of gave you the things that I believe in and who I am. And if this is what you want, then I'm willing to serve for you. So again, thank you for the opportunity. And again, we have two good candidates. Dolores will do great. I will do great. So it's up to you, and I accept whatever the outcome is. Well, thank you.
This is Reza. Sorry, legal counsel. Just one quick thing. I think as far as the process and procedure, I know we'll take a vote from the board members on who they want to have sit for president. At the end, whether we appoint just a president or a president and a VP, I think at the end to kind of sum everything up, we'll take a motion to formally appoint the individuals who received the most votes for one or both positions. So for now, we'll take the vote of the board members to see who they're going to select. I do think also we'll want to turn to public comment. So yes. Ken, I just wanted to put that out there that you can either do that now or after the board members vote, since we'll still be needing to take a motion to formally appoint. But if you want to get comments now from the public.
I think the right thing to do is exactly how we carry out our business. Before we take action, we usually always go to public comment. So I think that we should do that right now. So BRN moderator, please open up the public comment section. Thank you.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in the request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comment. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you, nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Dr. Charlotte Gullett-Moore would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Dr. Moore. Gullett-Moore, I'm sorry.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to make a comment. In response to the information that board member Kenneth just provided, I am extremely disappointed that this was asked of him to prevent him from participating in his role. That is extremely problematic given the current climate across our country, addressing issues of inequity and inequality with representation and access and resources impacting Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color. My second point I would like to make that I support the nomination for, or the recommendation for Mr. Kenneth to serve as president to this board. I believe he is more than qualified to deliver in the best interest of all Californians, addressing safety and regulation impacting the nursing profession. Thank you, and I'm done speaking.
Garrett Chan would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Garrett.
Thank you. I was wondering if there's an opportunity for Dolores and Kenneth to give their perspectives of the last sunset hearing on Friday, so that we can better understand how they, as potential presidents, the president, if elected, will help move the Board of Registered Nursing through the next phase of the process. Thank you.
Dr. Mary Taheri would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Dr. Taheri.
Again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I am a nurse practitioner with a doctorate degree for over 23 years working in LA County. I want to say a few things. One is the immense responsibility that each of you undertake while serving the nurses in California is a huge, huge responsibility. And, you know, I want to personally thank each of you for doing that, because I know it's a lot of your time. The one thing that we need in our profession is unity. And I hope that each of you provide that and instill that and inspire our new nurses and our current nurses to do more of that, to become one unit and stand and support each other. And then the other thing, as leaders, I think that that's very important, because it does trickle down to all of us. And then the other thing, as Kenneth had mentioned, transparency is extremely important. If there's no transparency, there's no trust. And there's no trust, then that causes a lot of issues. And so I hope that each of you that are going to be serving us in our profession are transparent, are fair, and that there's never any nepotism that occurs at this level, and that everyone, regardless of their religion, race, color, is treated equally, and gender is treated equally by each of you board members, and that there's no favoritism because someone is your friend or family member or colleague, and they are not chosen over someone that is actually qualified. So again, I thank you for each of your service, and whoever, I think each of you are phenomenal, and it's as good as each other to be a vice president or president. I would love to see Mary as a president, hopefully one day as well. So good luck to each of you. Thank you for the time.
Board Vice President Marlborough. Oh, one more. God's Child would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, God's Child.
We need a public member leading the board. The board already has a licensee majority, which presents antitrust issues. And it's become increasingly clear that the California Nurses Association exerts tremendous influence over the board's decision-making. And I believe Dolores being a CNA member will only exacerbate this. I support Mr. Malbrough serving as president, as the mission of this board is public protection and not CNA protection. He's been transparent and forthcoming, and these are two qualities that this board needs right now. Thank you.
Board Vice President Marlborough, there are no more requests for public comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please go ahead and close it, and thank you. Okay, now comes the roll call. And I think to make this simpler, board moderator, would you mind doing a roll call on this as we take our votes?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay. So we are going to vote for president.
Yes, correct. And just call out the name, and that person will provide the name to who they're voting for.
Perfect. Okay. Vice President Ken Marlborough.
Marlborough for Marlborough.
Susan Naranjo.
Naranjo for Trujillo.
Imelda Ceja Bekowitz.
Imelda for Marlborough.
Mary Fagan.
Mary Fagan for Marlborough.
Dolores Trujillo.
Dolores Trujillo for Trujillo.
Betty Woods. Betty.
Sorry. Betty Woods for Trujillo.
Jovita Dominguez.
Jovita Dominguez for Dolores Trujillo.
Okay. I have a count of 4 for Trujillo, 3 for Marlborough.
Okay, thank you very much. And Dolores, congratulations.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, and so with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you if that's okay.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, and thank you to the board committee for your faith in me. We're going to move on from 5.0 to... So I have a question. Ken,
yes.
Would you like, are you remaining in the vice president role, or do we need to have a vote for that? Or is that something we need to decide now, Reza?
Unless Ken wants to step down for some reason, I believe he would be entitled to continue in that role. Of course, the only reason we're having this vote today is because of Michael Jackson's vacancy. And so, sure. Yeah, I think that's the only reason we're doing this sooner than we otherwise would have.
I am good to stay in until June. We'll see what happens, because I believe that's when we have our next election, our regular election. Is that correct, Reza? Is it June?
I am not sure off the top of my head. Unless
we'll
knows, we have to get back to you. Yeah. Yeah,
we'll figure that out down the road then. But I'm good to
either way. Yeah, either way, Ken, I'm really looking forward to working with you. And thank you for remaining in that position.
Likewise.
Okay. So item 6.0, we've just finished with item 5.0, discussion and possible action, appointment of committee member to the Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee. We have a nominee, Edward Ray, who is a physician surgeon member. Do we have any board comments on this?
Dolores, this is Betty. I would like to give some information about this doctor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Let me tell you about this physician. Michael and I went through a lot of different names, and we came up with this particular gentleman because of a number of reasons. Edward Ray is actually a physician in Los Angeles, and he works presently at the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. And he had a very, very long resume. I'm not going to go through all of that, but I'm trying to pick out the important things. His initial doctorate was from the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and he went on for residency in surgery at Rochester Medical Center in Rochester, New York, and then for plastic and reconstruction surgery at University of Southern California in Los Angeles and at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City. He is an advanced reconstruction surgeon specializing in after cancer care, trauma, and gender affirmation surgery. And he has a very long, extensive resume in teaching and in his various committees that he's on and in education. And one of the things that I found rather interesting about this physician was his reasoning for wanting to be on this board. And I will read it to you since I want to get it straight and not misquote him. He thinks that nursing has had a proud history woven into the fabric of medical tradition and continues to expand its role in public health, education, research, specialty services, and administration. And he himself says he's privileged to help some of the neediest and most disenfranchised people in the community, regardless of their background, socioeconomic circumstances. He helped teach and train nurse practitioners and CRNAs in the operating room, in the clinic, and on burn wards at UCLA, Los Angeles Burn Center. In the hospital, the nurse practitioners work along with the various clinical staff in coordinating the care for the trauma and acute surgery patients that he operates on. Then they're exploring the role of a nurse practitioner to coordinate directly the future wound care at that particular hospital. And he thinks that nurses who continue to evolve their careers as more independent providers typically maintain a unique sensitivity to the individuality and vulnerability of patients. This level of empathy carries a lot of value in healthcare and warrants support. Let's see. He did some oversight with the board on various issues related to physicians who were he felt practicing outside of their training in plastic surgery. He also volunteers to work with federal prisoners and wounded veterans needing wound care and reconstructive surgery after they fell through the cracks of our non-healthcare system. And he also has embraced the opportunity to care for the underserved, such as the LGBTQ community, and has served on Cancer Center healthcare disparity working groups. He works pro bono to care for inappropriate cosmetic procedures that have taken place and actually ruined people. And he performs gender-affirming surgery as well as breast and body reconstruction after cancer and trauma. So he thinks that the roles of the nurse practitioners, as well as all nurses, play a strong role in healthcare, and which, particularly because they advocate for the patients. And he'd be honored to serve on the Nurse Practitioner Advisory Committee. So I will put forth his nomination to that committee, please. Do I have a second? Hello?
This is
Anybody?
Ken Marlborough. This is Ken Marlborough. I'll second it.
I guess we should hear from the public first. Ken?
Yeah, is there any other board comments? Okay, BRN moderator, can you open public comment, please?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." Please remember, you will have 2 minutes to make your comments. I will not give a reminder as your time approaches. I do not want to interrupt you nor cause you to lose your train of thought. I will mute your microphone and inform you that your time has expired, and we'll move on to the next member of the public. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Dr. Mary Taheri would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Dr. Taheri.
Thank you so much once again for this opportunity to speak. I am now aware, per Mr. Rizad, that I'm not to ask questions and just make comments. So my comment is, for someone like myself who have left the private sector after 12 years to come and work at a county facility, and most of my colleagues do make fun of that and play around and say, how could you leave a private sector to come and work county? And my comment is, well, I would like to hear more, if I may, but my comment is, or question, what made you want to work at Cedars-Sinai, which is one of the top, upper scale hospitals in LA County, which mainly does not serve the underserved communities or the African American or the Latino communities. And then the other, many of my nurse practitioner friends and colleagues that have worked at Cedars-Sinai have had negative experiences and are treated as quote unquote secretaries, not as healthcare providers. So I would love to hear your thoughts on how you utilize nurse practitioners in your team on a day-to-day basis. And then how do you see nurse practitioners in the family or primary care in 2023 in their roles in the California communities? Thank you so much for your time.
Sharon Bogan would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to make a comment. I want to second the woman who was just speaking, and my curiosity is about the same thing. I also would like to know, he has a great resume, and I'm thrilled that he supports the underserved communities. I would like to also hear more about his feelings of independent practice for nurse practitioners, and how he supports that, as well as what he feels about the standardized procedure or collaboration with MDs being lifted for nurse practitioners, which actually goes along with independent practice. So I'd like to know, his feelings towards that and AB 890.
This is the board's legal counsel, and I know we've got some other comments lined up, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate what I said before. I don't even see that we have the nominee in our list of people on the line, and that's not his fault. I don't believe he was told that he'd be answering questions. as I said earlier, if you've got information or comments or even questions, you're welcome to make those statements now, but I wouldn't suggest that you expect that those questions will be answered by the nominee or by the board members.
How can we learn more then about this nominee?
I'm not sure how to answer that. You can look into it. You can stand by. If he's appointed, you'll know more about him when he serves. Part of the purpose of public comment is for you to provide the board with information, but if all you have is questions, as I said, you're welcome to ask those questions, but you're not really, you can suggest questions that the board members might want to consider, things like that, but if you don't, I mean, as I said, the purpose of this is for you to provide information to the board.
Oh, I see. Well, then I'll suggest the question that I just had to the board then, if that's the protocol, I'll just suggest that to the board to follow up with, and then, I don't know, report back to, all of nursing on what the answers are. I'm not sure what the process is.
I'm not sure that you'll be entirely satisfied with this, but again, this is public comment. It's not exactly question and answer, town hall type forum where you can hope to have all your questions answered. I appreciate you making the comment and making the suggestion that the board members consider the appointment from that perspective, and I'm sure they will take your feedback into account. But that I think that's about all I can offer. So I think if that's the conclusion of that comment, I think we can turn to the next one.
Yeah, thank you. That's all then.
Dr. I. Meza would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead,
Very
Dr.
much.
Meza.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Dr. Meza. Hello? Dr. Meza?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Oh, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask the board, in terms of the vetting process, we were able to witness that out of 27,000 nurse practitioners in the state of California, the board selected 2 nurse practitioners from the same facility. And it doesn't seem to the public or to other members that there is diversification. So we don't understand how the vetting process is taking place when there's so many nurse practitioners and very little diversification within the committee that we are selecting to represent this nurse practitioner advisory committee. And with Dr. Ray coming from the private sector, we were looking more towards having someone from the public sector, from the greater Los Angeles area that has such a high underserved population. And we were wondering if they ever looked at any other physicians coming from either Harbor UCLA, like the previous physician that was nominated. And, we would just like to see more diversification since now we are only going to have 2 MPs from the same location. representing 27,000 MPs. So I would like the board to take that into consideration and also maybe consider Dr. Susan Heisch from Harbor UCLA, a public sector.
Kenny Chen would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Go ahead, Kenny Chen.
Hello, board members. I am a family nurse practitioner in South Central Los Angeles, working for the county. The comment I have to make is really just to go back to the state report that was sort of the impetus for AB 890, which was to increase primary care access to all Californians. It's the area that I work in the primary care clinic. And I think perhaps considering a physician who works in family medicine or in primary care might be more consistent with that goal as opposed to a very highly specialized area of surgery. Thank you.
Thank you. Pixie Moyo would like to make a comment. 1 second, please.
Pixie,
Go ahead, Pixie.
thank you very much for giving me this time. My name is Pixie, and I'm a registered nurse and have been a nurse for almost 20 years. I think at this day and age, it is important for us to see diversity. We don't see diversity in schools. I have tried to be a nurse like 3 times. I went to schools, and unfortunately, I kept getting kicked out, and yet my grades were were great. But I think what it is it's the issue of acceptance. It's time. If the royal family is having problems with diversity and it's all undercover, it is evident that we do need diversity everywhere. We don't want to wait until we find ourselves embarrassed, like the police are being embarrassed by what they do. We want to be ahead of times. Nurses are known to be ahead of times with everything. We were the first to accept the gay and the lesbians. We took care of them without discriminating them. We have to show in the panel that there is diversity. We all come from different culture. One culture cannot represent a multitude of people. There has to be representation that is balanced in those of us who represent us. Let's not wait until we are embarrassed out there, and then that will destroy the nursing, the integrity of the way people look at us as nurses. And just to come to this issue of the doctor that has been brought up, I'm sorry, I don't know them much. We don't have much information. But if you throw one fish in a pond and then you say, guys, let's go fishing, there's only one fish in a pond for us to all try and catch that fish. There's no choices. And we don't know what relationship whoever brought this doctor's name up is. So by the end of the day, we really need we need to find a way of selecting that other representative. But as for us, I'm a Black nurse. We are not represented. We really need representation. And so this is my cry. And I think we don't have to wait till things turn bad. Let's do it now. This is the year to turn things around. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a request by a public member, but I cannot unmute that person. So if that person is listening to me, try calling in on the toll-free number, if that's how you called in. Other than that, I have no way of unmuting you so that you can speak. Board President Trujillo, there are no more other requests for comment. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, thank you. Close the window. So we need to take a vote. We have a motion by Betty and a second by Ken. Going through the names, Ken, can I have your vote?
Albro votes yes.
Imelda? Imelda? Okay, we'll circle back to Imelda. Mary?
Mary votes no.
Susan?
Susan votes no.
I'm Dolores. I vote yes. Betty?
Betty votes yes.
Imelda? BRN moderator, can you turn on her mic, or is she having problems with her mic?
Imelda, are you there? I think she's disconnected. I can't unmute her. Oh, I was told to give her a minute. She's reconnecting.
Okay, Jovita? We'll circle back around to Imelda. Jovita?
Oh, Jovita?
Votes yes.
Jovita votes yes. Okay.
I'm sorry, this is
Imelda?
sorry for the interruption. I don't know if it was just me getting some kind of static or something when Jovita was speaking. All I took away was yes. Jovita, did you have any other comment, or was it just the yes vote?
No other comment. Just
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
All right, is Imelda back?
She disconnected. I'm waiting for her to show up on the back in the attendees, and then I'll promote her.
Mark,
Yes.
our assistant executive officer is working with getting her back on. So if you guys can please be patient. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Can I propose, I know we're in the middle of a vote, but can I propose a quick, like, 5-minute break for anybody that needs it while we get Imelda back on?
Imelda, is this you?
Hello?
Oh,
there you go.
I'm sorry. Is this, wait, is this Imelda?
No,
Nope,
this
that's not
is, I
Imelda.
wanted to make the public comment.
Okay, one second here, hold on. Okay, so we found the call-in user for the public member. Okay, I'm just looking for another call-in for Imelda. Imelda, is this you? Imelda? Imelda, are you there?
Is she being called?
She's calling in, and I have 2 call-in users, and call-in user 2 was the public member who wanted to speak, and then call-in user 14 just called in, but they didn't answer.
Hmm.
So hold on, let me unmute 14 again. 1 second. Imelda, is this you?
Was the other person who put their name as public member or public user, was that the person who was unable to be reached for public comment?
Yes.
Okay, if so, I mean, this might be a chance to turn to that person to allow them to make their public comment, or Dolores, if you'd rather take the break right now, it's whatever you choose to do.
I'm fine with allowing the public comment.
Okay, and this is just for the person who couldn't be reached during the actual public comment period.
Exactly.
Okay, 1 second, here we go. Go ahead, public member.
Thank you so much for taking my comment. I just wanted to echo the sentiments of other nurse practitioners and strongly encourage before taking a vote to consider other public servants of Los Angeles County, such as Susan Shea, who has overwhelming support from nurse practitioners and physicians and the public alike, because she is in tune with the underserved community. She has familiarity with the Nurse Practice Act. She serves on the Interdisciplinary Practice Committee, so she has trained NPs. She oversees safety at the county hospital on both the DHS level and local level. And I mean, although Dr. Ray sounds like a great surgeon and we appreciate his submission, I really urge you to reconsider additional members that are familiar with family practice, which is the goal, I think, of serving the underserved, serving rural communities. Having someone represent Los Angeles, which is the most populous, county in the nation almost, and really considering someone that's more in tune with the public sector and in tune with what it takes to have patients or the public be safe, and also support nurse practitioner role and what it is that's needed for public service. Thank you so much for your time. Please, I strongly urge you to reconsider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1 second here. I think we found Imelda. Hold on, let me see if. Let's see. Let's find out here. Imelda, is this you?
It's me. Can you hear me?
All right, there she is. Go ahead, Imelda.
Hi, Imelda.
Did we already vote?
We have all voted except you.
Okay, my vote is to accept.
So we have 4 to accept, 3 no's. I believe the motion carries.
2 no's, but that's correct.
2 no's, sorry. Okay. Thanks, Imelda. So are there any other items left on the agenda?
That would be the final agenda item besides adjourning the meeting.
Okay. we adjourn this meeting. Thank you, all of you, for participating, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.